Hey gang, it's Rudder. I'm gonna give you a little update on the car. I've been doing a couple hours last week, and this weekend I put in a couple hours on it. Cut out the shock tower, cut that out. I don't think I had that done last time. Also cut the rest of the suspension bits off. So now, man, I could fit an elephant in this sucker now. Look at that. Look at all that room. Man, that's awesome. Anyway. Man, I could have midget fights in there. That'd be pretty cool. That's like a perfect size for a midget. You know, one side, they enter each side there. Hang some like weapons and axes and stuff. Had like a mini Thunderdome going on. Dude, that's it. I'm gonna have midget fights. That's my $1 million idea. At any rate, I'm going to. Oh, I'm sorry, little people. They're called little people. I can't say midgets. Next thing I'm gonna do is replace this right here because the car's been hit some time ago. You see it crumpled there, and the shoddy workmanship that somebody did who owned the car. I don't know who would do that. I mean, wouldn't be me. Yeah, I did that a long time ago. But I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna cut that whole panel off. The aprons come off here because I think I told you guys before. I'm gonna make it look this side. I'm gonna make it flat because the battery's already in the trunk. I also cut out the battery vent hole. I'm going to patch that to make it look like that side. And I made a patch because let me talk about my domino effect. I'm sorry, let me jump ahead here. You guys remember I was putting the torque boxes in? I still haven't got it in because I ran into some issues. Remember I had the hole there? Well, I finally got my metal, finally had time to go downtown and get some metal. I got that all trimmed up now. I got my piece of metal cut. I just need to fine tune it. Weld it in place after I vacuum out all the crap and dirt that's stuck in there. I found a rabbit foot. You know, I found Jimmy Hoffa's ring in there. I don't know what, a lot of stuff in there. I'm gonna put that patch on there. Then I'll be able to put the torque box in because obviously one precedes the other. And I also had to put in a patch panel there because it was rusted here, down here, and all the way up against the firewall. And of course the torque box runs right there. So this has been actually a good find because if I wouldn't have decided to put torque boxes in a car, I probably just would have glazed over this and totally missed it. But I still got to grind this. I mean, I just welded it in there. I didn't make that panel. I'm clearly not that good, as you can tell by the welding. I bought this from CJ Pony. It was, wasn't that expensive. About the whole piece, and I just cut it out and slapped it in there, and it works pretty good. All right, let me talk about the Rod & Custom front end. This is gonna go in next. Get a glove on. So I won't be able to happen to have little people fights in there too long. So I'm putting the front end in. Thanks for bearing with me there. But man, let me talk about the welds in this thing first. This thing is simply amazing. The weld quality, geez, that's phenomenal. I mean, those guys can crank some welds out. I'm telling you, I wish I could weld that good. But first, that sits. The spring pocket sits right there. This coilover bolts here. This welds to here, and this is your height adjustment for your front end right here. There's measurements. I got them inside. I haven't done it yet. I'm just concentrating on getting this square right now. For those of you who are doing this, you have to cut out, when you cut the shock towers out, there'll be like a little lip right here, and you can see part of this frame right here. It extends all the way across to this side. You have to cut that out, obviously, to let the spring pocket sit in there and flush. With that, it wiggles just a little bit. And also, when you cut that out, your frame rail will split. I mean, there's no way around it. So I'm going to weld that in there and grind it off, and I'm going to grind this flush because I want to get it square. Let me grab my square because they said on the video you got to get it square, and I want to make sure this thing is spot on before I weld it. So it's a little bit off there. I know I'm not going back that far. It's good right there. Good right there. A little bit of. So okay, there's the bad one right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pound this a little bit, work on it, and get it nice and flush. That spring pocket will just sit right on there, and I can just weld it right on. It's just me. I'm anal. I gotta have it. Gotta have it square, just Just one of my weird traits. But then after that, I'm going to weld. I'll get the piece in here, and I'll weld the entire front suspension piece in, and then I'll start bolting the front end on, and this will actually be almost done. I'm going to grind all these welds off when I grind that off. Oh, I got to found one more rust hole I got to fix too. You'll see it when I put the light behind it, right there. So I can make that patch. That's not going to be too hard. That's going to be the next thing I'm going to fix. And then I'll strip this whole front end down, strip all the paint off. I'll probably just throw some epoxy primer on it until I get ready to do the rest of the car, but it'll just at least be protected from, you know, the elements and won't rust. Because it is getting winter here, and I don't want this thing to rust because it's already starting to get a little rust right there. Yeah, plus you can hear it. Yeah, so I got some issues going on there. This car always made noise, but yeah, I don't know what happened. That was before I got the car. This damage there. The car's only been in one accident since I've owned it, and it was in high school, and somebody slid into me. I was parked on the side of the road, and some big old Bronco slid into me right here and hit the door, hit the fender. That's one reason why I got a new fender for the car. But other than that, guys, that's it. Hopefully tomorrow I'll have enough time to finish, at least weld that piece in. And then by the weekend, I will weld the torque boxes in, I'll video that, and then I can grind all that mess and be done with this portion here. Other things I want to do this weekend is if I can get underneath the car. I want to make this video too long, so it's already 6 minutes. And if I make it any longer, you guys will be bouncing your head off the keyboard from boredom. But what I am going to do is there's a gap there. I'm going to fill that gap in. I'm going to cut the tranny mount, because that's where the tranny reinforcement is. I'm going to cut that and weld it to the floor. I'm just going to cut right here. Love using my hook as a pointer. I'm going to cut right there and pound that up, and then weld a piece of metal in there, so that way it's all structurally sound. Same with there. I'm going to finish that up too. I'm going to grind all that stuff off, because I am planning on stripping this down to bare metal, and then I'm going to probably undercoat it, Raptor liner or something like that, after I seam seal it. I do the same to that side, fix all that rust up, and I'm going to start underside of this thing, stripping it out. I'm going to put some 2x2 tubing through here. I'm going to weld it in here so I can run my fuel lines, battery, and all that good stuff, brake lines through here, instead of having them parallel the frame, go under the frame, this side and down. I'm just going to put some holes here to run everything through, and then stick it to the frame rail as best I can, and my subframe connectors, which I'll weld on next. But yeah, I got that idea from Turbo Cobra, so I'm just going to cut a hole here, put a metal square tubing in there, weld it back in. It'll help reinforce this too. And might do it to the other side. Depends what I got going down there. I think the only thing I have on that side is battery cable and maybe one fuel line, but I might run that on the inside of the, or outside of the rail. Just keep it as far away from the exhaust as I can. So that's still to be determined, but I am going to put the tubing in there for nothing other than just cleanliness of lines and stuff like that. So trunk area. I don't think my light will reach that far, but then after I get all this stuff done, I'll take you guys to the tubbing of the rear here. I'm going to, you guys know I already got the stuff downstairs. I'm going to cut out that wheelhouse, weld a 2-inch piece in there, and then attach the wheelhouse to it so I'll have a stock look. I didn't want to go with I know Grave Robbers make some, and so does Detroit Speed, but I don't think you can use your back seat with those, or if you can, you have to severely modify your back seat, and I don't feel like doing that. So I'm just going to put 2 inches on here. That should be enough to get the 295 underneath the car like I've wanted. And plus it'll fix that hole right there. I think I told you guys that when I went to the track, I did a burnout. I wondered where all the smoke was getting inside the car. Well, now I know. There's a hole right there. So yeah, I'm going to cut all that out, and I'll probably cut that reinforcement out. I am going to put a plate in there. In fact, I'm going to probably put a false wall between the back seat and the trunk. That's going to hold my MSD, or my ignition, and probably anything else, I'll just hide it in there. That way it's not underneath the dash, because I am going to put a heater back in this thing, because I did originally have I had my two-step and my MSD control where the heater is, and you know, it gets kind of cold, so I'm going to put my heater back in the car. So like I said, I'll probably, let me ask this question first off. Is there, or would there be some issues if the MSD, or if the ignition control box is about 6 foot from the engine, 6-8 foot from the engine? If it is, then of course I'll have to find someplace else to mount it, maybe under the seat. But I really would like to make a false wall in my trunk, mount all my electronic gizmos in there, hide it, and just have it just a cleaner install. So if anybody knows about that, I don't know if it will make a difference the further away the ignition box is from the distributor, if it'll, you know, mess with the signal or anything like that. Please let me know if you guys have any thoughts on that. But yeah, that's probably the next project, is definitely the tubs, and then I'll build the false wall, and then I'll put in the I think Cobra Fanatic put out a video of doing the trunk. Light won't reach that far now. But the trunk floors, I got to do that on this thing too, because on that side specifically, you can't see, but the training cooler's sitting on it. That side is beat up. It's got holes in it. Yeah, that side is definitely bad. This side I could probably patch and fix, but you know, it's probably easier just cutting it out and do the whole thing. So yeah, that's after I'm finished the firewall stuff there and the torque boxes on both sides. I'm going to move to the back end, start working on this, welding my subframes. But yeah, the video's already 11 minutes, guys. I'm going to go ahead and cut it off here. I just want to tell you guys, thanks for watching and commenting. I appreciate it. I'm learning a lot by watching other videos, and definitely the comments you guys leave. Man, it keeps me motivated to get me out here in the cold weather and fix this car up. So again, I appreciate it. Turn this around. Tell you guys, you know, thanks for the comments, and really helping me out and keep me motivated. So again, thanks. Appreciate it. I'll see you later.